ਸਿੱਖੀ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਉੱਤਮ ਇੱਕ ਫਿਲਾਸਫੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ, ਤੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਬਣਦਾ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਸ ਫਿਲਾਸਫੀ ਨੂੰ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੀਏ ਵੀ। Last year there was a conference organized by the Christians in Ilford, and the title was Calling Sikhs to Jesus. And I was named to Faith Network the lecture. I attended the meeting and I said that this is not fair. And the Christian candidate from United Churches said that you should be feeling lucky that they have chosen you as a community to give the good news. And I said we already have a good news because Guru Nanak has given us something which is unique. Because you might have seen some Christians come to your door and say Christ is the only savior and he can only save you. And my question was then, who was saving people before him? ਜਾਂ ਇਸਲਾਮ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਲੈ ਲਈਏ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੰਦੀ ਛੋੜ ਦਿਵਸ ਹੈ ਇਸਲਾਮ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਾਫੀ ਜੁੜਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ। And if you think, who was saving people before Islam came? But Guru Nanak has given us something which is, at the start he says, Aad Sach, Jugad Sach, Happy Sach, Nanak Hosi Bhi Sach. It was true even before the word became in being. It was true, it is true now, and it will be true. And which religion is superior than others? We don't decide that. Vaheguru decides that. And Gurbani says quite clearly, Sarv dharm mein shreshth dharm, har ko naam jap nirmal karm. It's not that if you become a Sikh, you dress like a Sikh and you will be accepted in Vaheguru's court. Or if you are Muslim or if you are a Christian, you will be accepted. It all depends on your deeds, nirmal karma, and whether you remember Vaheguru all the time or not. And that is something which no other religion says. And it's not attached to any religion at all. This is for humanity. So Guru Granth Sahib is a universal prayer. Right? And one thing she said was, that's what I said, that this is good news for us. I think I already got good news when I was born in a Sikh family. And she was saying that if I know the good news and I don't tell other people, what am I going to say to God when I go there that I didn't tell the good news to other people? And that also applies to us. That if we know the good news and we don't even know that and we can't tell other people why is it good news. Now if I come to Diwali was celebrated long before Guru Sahib, and that is associated with Ramchandra's coming from 14-year exile back home, and everybody lit the lamps and welcomed them. And that was the story. Now Guru Hargobind was imprisoned in Gwalior's Killa. It's a prison. Now different historians, because Sikhs were actually exiled as well. They lived in jungles, true Sikhs. And all the history and a lot of literature we have has been written by either Muslims or Hindus. And they will give their own term. right? As there is a saying that the story of the hunt will always glorify the hunter until the lions have their own story writer. So those people wrote these things from their own perspective. Now, why was he actually in prison? Because the main reason is Guru Arjan Dev Ji was martyred. And we all know why. Because it was Muslim rulers, whether Muslim rulers wanted or not, the clergy behind them wanted everybody to be Muslims. And if Guru Arjan Dev Ji accepted Islam, then he was fine. But because he didn't accept it, because we believe in freedom of belief, freedom of speech, he was martyred. And same goes with Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. He was asked, accept Islam, you're fine. Chote Sahibzade, same thing. Can you imagine at the age of 7 and 9 to resist the temptation of saving your life if you just say, yeah, I accept Islam? But they were so brave. They didn't. So Guru Hargobind realized that this is something which we need to tackle, and we need to become forceful. We need to organize. We are fighting against people who are powerful. So if you are fighting against people who are powerful, then you need to become powerful. So he organized, and he had an army. He himself, Guru Hargobind, was a good wrestler, good horse rider, and he could fight with swords very well. And he trained his soldiers. Now that is something which the rulers wouldn't really like. Although Shah Jahan was very close to him, the ruler of that time, but he couldn't really stomach that somebody will become who will be parallel to me or my army. So he imprisoned him in Gwalior. Now different historians write different things. Some people say 40 days he was in prison, some people even say 12 years. What I have read from mostly Muslim writers, that there is a slab still in that Gwalior Killa, which actually says that they were Hinda Pir was here. And that goes back to 1613. And he was released in 1619. So we can say with confidence he was imprisoned for about 6 years. Now during that time, the idea is that if we imprison a leader, then the whole community will vanish, because if the leader is not there, then the community will fizzle out and we will not have any opposition. But that wasn't the case. Baba Buddha Ji was there, and all those Sikhs, they came to Gwalior and they stayed around the Gwalior Killa. And when the emperor actually thought that this is not going to work, to gain the confidence of Sikhs, he decided to release Guru Hargobind. Now we say, in Ardas we say, Nanak naam chaddi kala, tere paane se bhakta kala. And we actually mean that. And Guru Hargobind actually did that. Now when he was said that you will be released, you are free to go, he refused to go himself. He said, I'm not going, because if I'm innocent, there are other people here with me in prison who are also innocent. There is something like political prisoner or prisoner of conscience. Your thought. If your thought doesn't match with the ruler, then they can put you in prison. So they were prisoners of conscience. And he refused that. Now, the emperor thinks, what do I do now? And he makes this condition that, okay, you can take people, whoever can hold on to your robe can go out with you. So that is when Guru Hargobind made this Apagadinana Bwanja Kalyawala Kurta. So he had 52 kind of attachments to his robe, which those people can hold on to, so that whoever can hold on to those attachments can get out of it. And where they were actually getting out from wasn't an open place, it was quite narrow. So they had to have those attachments of different lengths. And that's how he came out. And on the Diwali, because Diwali is a major festival in India, and Sikhs, Hindus all actually celebrated that. It's a festival of life. And that is the day he chose to come back to Amritsar to coincide with Diwali. And we call it Bandi Chhod. Bandi Chhod means release of prisoners. Now we need to say that Bandi Chhod rather than Diwali, because this is not we celebrating the homecoming of Ram and Sita and Lakshman. This is homecoming of Guru Hargobind and his associated other kings, 52, who came with him. So that is something which is Sarvatadapara. We didn't think, those kings didn't really actually believe in Sikhism. Didn't believe in Sikhi. But they were innocent. And because they were innocent, Guru actually insisted that they should be released as well. So that is something which we need to feel quite proud of and not forget our history. Now I'm just going to go offline a bit, because recently something happened here. You might have heard of a word called Islamophobia. Now phobia is a fear of something, irrational fear they say. बिना किसी बुनियाद तो किसी चीज़ को डरना, उसे तो डर नहीं है पर अपन डरते हैं. That is phobia. And about 2 years ago, they set up a APPG, all party parliamentary group for Muslims. They set up a commission to define Islamophobia. What is Islamophobia? And they came out with a definition which was going to go into the law, because Labour Party adopted that, and it was going to go into the law that anybody breaks that definition will be a criminal. Now that, one of the things in that definition is that you cannot say that Islam was spread by the sword. And Muslims treated sub-judicially all the minorities under their rule. Now subjudication is that you treat other people not equal. You treat other people like slaves. They are lower than you. And if you think about, that is happening even now. I work with network of Sikh organizations, which is director is Lord Indrajit Singh, you might have heard of him. And we have tried to get so many Sikhs out of Afghanistan because they are actually attacking. Hindus and Sikhs have fled through that. Pakistan is another one. Even in Bangladesh, there are cases where they harass people who are not Muslims. Even in Nigeria, the Archbishop of Nigeria has stated that Muslims are trying to create genocide of Christians through slow motion. Now this is happening, and if that becomes law, then we cannot say that Guru Hargobind was actually imprisoned because of his faith. We cannot say that Guru Arjan Dev Ji was martyred because he didn't accept Islam. Can't say Guru Tegh Bahadur or Mani Singh or any of Chote Sahibzade, because they were given this choice. Become a Muslim, we won't say anything to you, but otherwise, accept that. So if that becomes a law, then we from stage, Ragi Sahiban ya Kathakar, will not be able to say, if they say that, then they are committing a crime. Now, network of Sikh organization under Lord Universities wrote those letters, and also that goes against the equality law of 2010, which has been on the statutes here in England. It will go against that law, because that says every religion is equal. And you can't create one religion above the other, because you can't say anything about Islam, but you can say about Sikh, you can say about Hinduism, you can say about Christianity as well. So that creates problem with the equality law. So we need to be aware of these things, how these things, because a lot of times I met the kid from India, Mr. Fulka, who fights the cases for 1984 victims. And one thing he said was that we shouldn't always concentrate what's happening in India with Sikhs. We should always look at what is happening in your own country as well. And a lot of times we ignore those things because we think those people making laws in this country know what they would do. It doesn't really affect us. But it does. So that at the moment has been stopped. There was an article by Jules Gomo, who is a Christian. The title was that church is silent when Sikhs have blocked the law of blasphemy. Because they have created Islamophobia is kind of racism. Because racism is dependent on your color, on your ethnicity, on your nationality. But Islam can be anything. Like Sikh can be a Gora Sikh, can be a Pakistani Sikh or whatever. So ethnicity is different. So that is the thing which we need to understand, that Bandi Chhod Divas in 1619 was what is Amnesty International now. Because Amnesty International now fights for the people who are unjustly imprisoned because of their views, not that they have committed crime. And we need to stand for that. And that is the message of Bandi Chhod, and we must take pride in what we have. Gurbani is a great source of universal prayer. And we need to know that, we need to feel proud, so that somebody asks us, what do we believe in? And we can say that. How many of us can actually say, what do we believe in, and we have an answer? I mean, I go into schools and, ask people, and even teachers say that Sikh kids, if we ask them what you believe in, they haven't got anything to say. And I tell you what, just 2 minutes, sir, 2 minutes, yeah. 2 minutes, I know I'm taking more time. But if they ask, there is a Kabir slok, which I won't recite, but I'll tell you what it says. It says you must become humble. And he says, okay, can I should become like a stone on the floor. And then he says, no, stone can actually give somebody, can hurt somebody. That's not what I want to be. So can I become a dust? And says, no, dust can actually irritate people as well. That's not good. So shall I become like water? And he says, no, water goes hot and cold as well. I don't want to become like. In the end, he says, हर जन ऐसा चाहिए, हर ही जैसा हो, जैसा हर ही हो. So we need to become like what God is. Then what is God? Now God, the definition has been given in Mool Mantra right at the beginning. What is God? And he says, Ek Onkar. Ek Onkar. Ek is one. It hasn't been written in word, letters. It's a number one. Because you can't really say what it's made of. Because if Guru Nanak wrote Ek, Edi Nusyari Kaka, people will try to make what does it actually mean? Edi da matlab kiya, Syari da matlab kiya, Kakke da matlab kiya. They will become jumbled and just not understand the actual meaning. So Ek is one. You can't go wrong with just one. Okar. So there's one God and we are one because we are His creation. So we believe in oneness of humanity. Nobody says that. They might say Christians are one and Muslims are one and we are together. But nobody says humanity is one. And that's what we believe in. Humanity is one and God is one. Satnam, his name is truth. Truth. No, truth, Sat, is not really true. It's a permanent truth. Because there is a difference between Sat and Sat. Like Rishi Sunak was Prime Minister of this country last year. That was true then. It's not true now. So truth can change according to time. But Sat is never changes. So it's always there. Karta Purkha. He's creator. We need to become creative. We have to do things. He's created you, given you everything. With the tyrant has and you have. So you got to find a way. You got to be creative and fight for that. Nirpav. God is fearless. We have to become fearless. Don't be afraid of things. Nirvair. God is without any enemy. And we don't have enemy. We don't believe in that we have somebody enemy because they don't think like us. We accept it as your right to speak what you speak. Akal Mudit. Don't change according to time. Be stable. Ajuni, and in the end, we have to get out of this life and death circle. Saipang. Self-eliminated. Apne पैरों पे खड़ा होना, stable. Become stable in your own self. अपना कर लो, अपना बनाओ, अपना, be on your feet. Guru Prasad, by the grace of Guru, we establish that. So in the end, you need to have grace of God, grace of Guru, to become like that. And whole Gurbani is around that. So if you remember what you believe in, this is what you believe in, must recite at least Mool Mantra every day. And can you believe if you go into the world and say, I have no fear and I have no enemy, and you will enjoy the day. So try to do that. And that is what will make you strong, what will make you fearless, what will make you so confident that you can take anything in the world. So that is a Sikhi. That is Sikhi, not just Dari Rakhli Kes Rakhya, because internally we have to. That is part of it, but it is not the whole thing. And it's not important. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, tu पाठ करना अच्छा, tu अमृत से क्या होना?" पाठ करना सिर्फ अमृतधारी का काम नहीं है. Every Sikh, whether you have taken Amrit or not, you must read Gurbani. And once you read Gurbani, then you will feel that there is something missing. You know, I knew a Scottish Sikh who was very interested in Sikhi, but he said, "I can't keep my hair. That is something which I can't do." He knew Gurbani, he used to sing Gurbani, but he didn't have hair. A year later, he was proper Sikh. Tari case, everything was that. Right? I've got photographs on my phone with him. And he said, you know, as I read Gurbani, as I understood Gurbani, and when I used to look at myself in the mirror, I felt there is so much missing here. That's not what I should be. I felt naked. So Gurbani has power. So much power that when Sikhs were hunted, there was price on Sikh's head, and people used to take a head of a Sikh and get reward. Sikhs had to flee in jungles. But they did not leave Gurbani, they always read Gurbani. And Gurbani has that power that out of those jungles they came out and created a kingdom, Maharaja Ranjit Singh. And 2 years ago, BBC did a survey on who is the greatest leader ever of the historians. More than 1,000 historians responded to that, and Maharaja Ranjit Singh was voted the best leader ever. And you can go on BBC website and check it out. Not because he was powerful, because he was fair. He treated people equally. He did not treat people who weren't Sikh like other communities do. So that is the legacy we have. So, पुल्ला चुकां दी माफ़ी जे कोई गलत गल कह गया हुआ खिमंदा जा चुका. बहुत ही सोहना कीर्तन हो रहा सी. भाई साहब, गुरु महाराज की बख्शिश है तुहाडे ते जो आवाज़ बख्शी है. थैंक यू वेरी मच. ते बलविंदर सिंह जी सासी, थैंक यू. वाहिगुरू जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरू जी की फतेह.
तो सात संगत जीओ,